In the frozen lands of Hokkaido, Japan, where snow blankets wooden rooftops and the wind howls through dense pine forests, there stands a quiet temple called Manenji, cloaked in mist and mystery. Inside this temple, there isn't a statue of Buddha. There aren't deities or holy relics. There's a doll. A small porcelain doll with jet-black shoulder-length hair and skin as smooth as that of a real child. Her name is Okiku. At first glance, she looks just like any other traditional Japanese doll, what they call an ichimatsu ningyo, the kind often gifted to little girls as a symbol of love and good fortune. But Okiku is different, because her hair keeps growing. Even after being trimmed, again and again, it grows back, little by little, over and over. This phenomenon has been observed and documented for nearly a century, and to this day, no scientist or expert has been able to fully explain it. The story begins in 1918, in the city of Sapporo, Hokkaido. A 17-year-old boy named Eikichi Suzuki bought a traditional doll at a street fair, a simple gift for his 3-year-old sister, Okiku. The little girl instantly fell in love with it. She slept with it, took it everywhere, and called it by her own name, Okiku. To her, the doll wasn't just a toy, it was a friend, a sister. But then, tragedy struck. That same winter, Okiku caught a severe cold that turned into pneumonia. With no access to proper treatment, she died in pain, at just 3 years old. Heartbroken, Eikichi kept the doll. He placed it on the family's altar to remember his sister. And that's when they noticed something strange. The doll's hair started to grow. At first, just a few centimeters, then more, down to the shoulders, then the back. The Suzuki family, deeply spiritual, believed the spirit of their little girl had somehow entered the doll, that Okiku was still alive, living inside her beloved companion. In 1938, when the family moved away, they entrusted the doll to Manenji Temple, where it remains to this day. And yes, the hair still grows. Over the decades, researchers, including a team from the University of Tokyo, have examined samples of Okiku's hair. What they found was chilling. The hair structure is nearly identical to real human hair. Not synthetic fibers, not animal hair, but real human hair, complete with keratin layers, melanin granules, and the exact density you'd find in a young Asian child. This makes no sense. Dolls made in the early 20th century were crafted using linen, cotton, or fake hair. So, how can real human hair grow from porcelain? Some spiritualists call this a vessel of attachment, where the soul of a deceased person clings to an object they deeply loved in life, and through that object, continues to manifest. For Okiku, that manifestation is her hair. If you ask anyone who stayed overnight at Manenji Temple, they won't tell you about peace or prayer. They'll talk about whispers in the dark, faint footsteps echoing down wooden hallways, like a child walking at night, and most chilling of all, the feeling of being watched from behind the glass case. Monks at the temple have reported strange phenomena. Soft giggles in an empty room, a child's murmur coming from the altar. One monk, Kobayashi Genjo, who lived at the temple for over 20 years, once said, "We're not afraid of her. We respect her. Because I believe there's truly a soul in that doll. And she's still trying to speak, still looking for someone who will listen." In 2002, a Western photographer named Paul Richards stayed overnight at the temple. He brought a camera to capture any paranormal activity. But just a few hours after midnight, Paul woke up in a panic. He screamed, ran out of the temple, didn't speak a word. His footage? Corrupted. Specifically at 2:13 a.m., the exact moment he lost control. When interviewed later, Paul said, "I don't know if it was a dream, but there was a little girl standing at the foot of my bed. Her hair covered her face, and she was crying. The hair still grows. That's the most disturbing part. Even after it's cut, it grows back. Caretakers at Manenji trim Okiku's hair once or twice a year, like a parent caring for a child. The cut strands are wrapped in white cloth and buried under an old pine tree outside the temple. It's a ritual rooted in Shinto belief, where everything has a spirit, even dolls. Yet no one can explain it. The hair always grows back. In some years, it has grown up to 5 centimeters in just 6 months, matching the growth rate of a healthy living child. Professor Kenji Tanabe's team at Tohoku University conducted a study in 1998 and concluded, the hair sample is consistent with human hair, yet lacks any root structure. There's no cellular activity. And yet, it still grows. So, what's feeding it? To understand why the Japanese don't destroy Okiku or subject her to more tests, you need to understand something deeper. Shinto, the ancient native religion of Japan. In Shinto, everything has a kami, a soul, even a broken cup, a rock by the road, an old coat, or a doll loved by a child. When an object is cherished enough, it can become more than just an object. It can transform. It can become alive. This phenomenon is called tsukumogami, when a beloved item gains a soul through years of emotional connection. And in Okiku's case, some believe it's not that the girl's soul entered the doll. It's that the doll became the girl. In 2014, a group of young tourists from Tokyo visited Manenji, filming a vlog for fun. They laughed, mocked the doll. One girl, Mai Yukimura, even tapped on the glass and joked, "Hey Okiku, your hair's a mess. Cut it already." The next day, Mai disappeared. The 3 others were found in a hotel, traumatized, mumbling nonsense. No drugs, no injuries, and no memory of what happened after they left the temple. Even stranger, their car's dashcam footage was completely wiped from 11:04 p.m. to 11:46 p.m., the exact time they were driving away from Manenji. Mai was never found. Today, the doll remains inside a lacquered glass case. Below it, a small plaque reads, "Please pray for the girl's soul. Do not take photos. Do not speak her name. Do not make fun of her." The Japanese didn't keep the doll out of superstition. They kept it out of respect, not out of fear, but compassion. Okiku is not a demon. She's not a curse. She is a soul that never left, an in-between, not fully human, not quite divine. A quiet doorway to a bigger question. Do we ever truly die? As long as someone still remembers us? So if one day you find yourself in Hokkaido, walking the stone path toward Manenji Temple, let the mist guide your steps. Walk slowly, stay quiet. And when you stand before the glass that holds the doll, don't knock. Don't take a photo. Just look into her eyes, and you'll know. She's still there, still breathing, through every strand of hair. That keeps growing, every single day.